Hello, good morning to you. We welcome you to another edition of the COVID-19 Response Report, live from the Information Command Center at the GIS Studios on NTN. Today is Wednesday, the 3rd of June, 2020. And my name is Jessie Leonce. I'm joined in studio, as usual, by my colleague Carlton Cyril. We're bringing you the latest updates in the wake of another sitting of the lower house of Parliament. We're seeing quite a few developments, approvals in the House in the last few hours. We invite you to stay tuned for the information coming out of that, as well as other updates, important updates coming from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Carlton?
Merci tellement, Jessie. Quand nous avons dit bonjour, merci tellement pour vous qui a écouté, vous qui a vu nous, especially pour ces jeunes sur Facebook et puis ces jeunes qui a écouté sur radio. Bienvenue tout bonnement. Comme vous savez ici, c'est Headquarters COVID-19. Côté nous avons information développement qu'on y pour faire puis Covid. Sur bon matin, moi ni pour dire les nous kai constituent pour un chaque décision. Parmi eux concession pour Bawia, nous avons parlé sur ça un jour côté nous avons l'école vie ouverte et encore c'est là ces conditions pour l'école ouverte. Parmi l'autre bagaille nous avons c'est les mois là ni pour faire puis Covid côté nous y là ni pour faire et puis Covid. Merci tellement. Non moi c'est Carlton Cyril primaire connaître qu'on Cox et nous avons dit c'est toujours un plaisir pour nous présenter et puis information et développement là ni pour faire Covid. Merci tellement. Aujourd'hui c'est le 3e jour en mois juin.
Now, we want to begin our program this morning with an update from the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sharon Belmar-George. We got an update as at this weekend in terms of the latest samples being turned over. Again, Saint Lucia can continue to boast of no new cases of COVID-19 on island. And as we enter this new phase in our response to COVID-19, we're entering phase 4. As per the Operations Command Center, we see on June 4th, effective June 4th, we will see the reopening of our borders, the resumption of tourism activity here in Saint Lucia, as well as the reopening of schools, and that will be done on a phased basis, grade 6 and Form 5s in preparation for the National Examination, CXE, and Common Entrance. We're hearing from the Ministry of Health as we enter these new critical phases in our recovery. Take a listen.
Test results received on Saturday, May 30th, 2020 for 44 samples were all negative. Additional test results were received on Monday, June 1st, 2020 for 28 samples, and all of these results were also negative. This week, testing will continue as a combination of community-level testing from persons seeking care at our various respiratory clinics, as well as targeted testing for frontline workers and the returning nationals from the cruise ships. To date, Saint Lucia has carried out a total of 1,084 tests, of which 18 tested positive, and all have fully recovered with no COVID-19 deaths. Effective June 4, 2020, Saint Lucia opens its borders to regional and international countries. The policy includes that all travelers present a negative COVID-19 test and undergo mandatory quarantine at a government institution. The Ministries of Health and Tourism will continue working together with stakeholders to coordinate this new phase of the national response to COVID-19. In addition to the Ministries of External Affairs and Tourism, they too will continue to coordinate the repatriation of nationals, which include cruise workers, students, and other nationals currently seeking to return to Saint Lucia.
That was the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sharon Belmar-George, just giving us a quick update on the state of affairs regarding COVID-19. 1,084 tests have been conducted so far in St. Lucia. We know of the 18 that tested positive. Fortunately, all of them have fully recovered, and there have been no COVID deaths. Thankfully, we continue to boast, as I mentioned, no new COVID-19 cases on island. And it is with that in mind, one of the factors that the Operations Command Center is moving confidently into new phases of our response to COVID-19 here in Saint Lucia. We want to remind you that we are under a state of emergency, and we will be under a state of emergency here on island until the 30th of September. And despite this, Saint Lucia continues to make efforts to get used to the new normal, and that is coexisting with COVID-19. Again, we want to re-emphasize that we will have to learn to live with this. It very well may become endemic to our environment. And so amidst that reality, within that reality, we are trying to see how we can resuscitate our economy, bring back tourism, our lifeline, in the best way we can as we chart these new territories of COVID-19 and our response to COVID-19. So again, word from the CMO as of this morning, and just letting people know that when the borders are reopened this week to regional and international countries, individuals will have to undergo the mandatory institutional quarantining, and that is important to note. If we could go back to the roadmap to recovery, this weekend's panel discussion during which the permanent secretary, we had permanent secretary within the tourism ministry, as well as the chief environmental health officer. They were explaining some of the measures that have been put in place to ensure that the population, as it tries to groove into this new normal, we are still protected as much as possible from the COVID-19 threat. We did hear from the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism that air travel will recommence on June 4th, and there are no restrictions on travel from St. Lucia. Both airports will be open to all nationals from all countries, provided you meet this very critical criteria, being you must present proof of a negative COVID-19 test. And even then, you will be placed into institutional quarantining. Again, just to let you know quickly, as we resume our tourism activities this week, there have been several measures put in place from SLASPA's end in terms of the management of airports to welcome our visitors, both nationals, foreigners, tourists coming to our shores. The director of airports, the acting director of airports from SLASPA, did indicate that several measures have been put in place, including markers for social distancing, the sneeze guards for the customs and immigration, and other department agencies or desks at the airport itself. And they did indicate that although there may not be flights coming in immediately from June 4th, it gives the authorities some time to fix any flaws that they might have in their operations, their new operations, to try to safeguard the population from COVID-19. Of course, things are still in their embryonic stages, and so you will find that there will be adjustments being made as they go along. Again, it is uncharted waters, and the authorities are trying their best to maneuver through this new situation, and that is living with COVID-19. So not only tourism, we have schools resuming, Carlton, this week as well. And we did get a release from the Ministry of Education giving us some indication as to what will be expected of the parents and guardians, as well as what will be expected of the teachers, the administration. And just reading quickly from a press release from the Ministry of Education regarding the reopening of school, and that will be done, by the way, on a phased approach, grade 6 and Form 5. Parents and guardians should note the following. Health protocols have been shared to ensure a safe and healthy school environment for all. Schools have been furnished with contact information of healthcare professionals and the Royal Saint Lucia Police Force personnel who will assist with the adherence to and enforcement of the protocols. Access to the school premises outside of drop-off and pick-up times will not be permitted without the explicit approval of the principal. Parents and guardians of secondary school students should get their child or ward's timetable from the school, and parents and guardians are encouraged to liaise closely with their schools during the time of this phased reopening. Again, we want to emphasize that this is a phased reopening of in-class instruction. Only grade 6s and Form 5s will be required to return to school this week. and that is in preparation for the national examinations. Meanwhile, if your child is in kindergarten, that is grade K, grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Form 1, 2, 3, and 4, they are required to continue the learning from home instructions that we received previously from the Ministry of Education. Teachers, in turn, are expected to report to their respective schools on Tuesday, the 2nd of June, 2020, for final preparations. So preparations for the reopening of school, that is today, actually. Yeah, so school is beginning today, Wednesday, the 3rd of June. My mind is still in Tuesday mode, Parliament mode. So just keep in mind, as we reopen school this week, that is today, and we reopen the borders, we resume tourism activity here in Saint Lucia. Tomorrow, you go out and you come in, continue to adhere to all of the protocols that have been outlined by the authorities to ensure not only your health and safety, but the health and safety of your family and the population at large. Carlton?
Merci tellement Jesse pour ça. Et qu'on permet développement qu'on pour faire puis Covid, et nous avons dit bienvenue pour qu'attendre voir nous. Bon matin nous ici à headquarters COVID-19 ici à studio GIS NTN. Hier pour vous qui te suivre nous t'es là kai concite et quand chaque développement. Mais nous avons commencé et puis là ni pour faire annoncement qui a sorti hard CMO Dr. Belma George et là ni pour faire Covid. Pour date là, il dit, samedi le 30 mai, nous tenons 44 tests. Tous ces tests vie négatifs. Hier, lundi, le 1er juin, nous, pas hier, lundi, holiday, lundi, nous avons l'autre 28 tests. Toutes vie négatives. Quand pour date, nous avons 1084. Excusez-moi, 1084. Test j'ai fait Saint Lucia. Quand à pour date ou qu'ils savent, nous ni 100% moun ja recouvert et nous pas ni personne qui a testé pour affaires vermine Covid là. Ça qui est bien important rapport CMO, il fait bien clair là il vini pour côté yo aller à présent, il dit là il vini pour yo va continuer faire test en ces communautés yo va continuer faire test parmi ces gens qui étaient à travailler sous bâtiment qui repatrier Vinicia et puis là ces gens noirs qui devant ces gens noirs qui a aidé ou abattre vermine Covid là ça c'est ces gens travailleurs essentiels yo ka tester moun sa quoi attention yo à présent parce que ça qui bien important ni pour ça ou pas ça savent si ou ni et ben sou pas fait test. C'est là où fait test même si la panne quand chaque monde a dit ça constamment quand monde a dit so pour que ça la panne pièce Covid qui manière hot ka dit hot ka ouvert avec la panne Covid y en a ces bagages là on ni pour ça y en a ces manières qu'a détecter a pas dit monde ka transé clinique là c'est pas dit ton ka fait test ça dit là on ni est ko panique quoi pour date bonne nouvelle là c'est nous pas ni personne qui ni Covid à présent mais test ka continue expressement et puis ces jeunes ces docteurs ces nurses qui devant ka combattre ça. Il y en a des bails qui savent qui bien important quand nous entrer en mois juin on savent phase 4. Ça c'est côté yo ka vie ouvert airport yo ka permettre place en hôtel guest house c'est place ça ka commencer accepter moun et juste Saint Lucien qui voulait repatrier vinn la caillou ou ka savent nous en stage 4 phase 4 excusez-moi et y en a ces bagaille là si un mois fait bien clair, là venu pour situation ça, gouvernement ça met bureau qui responsable pour santé, qu'a fait bien clair pour yon moun peut entrer en pays ou kayni policy c'est parmi l'autre bagaille ou kayni pour moucher un test négatif Covid qui voulait dire kayni pour moucher au point test ça et il sorti négatif. L'autre requirement c'est ou obligé et moi dit encore according pour parole CMO ou obligé rester quarantine là entrer pour 14 jours en dans facilité gouvernement trouver quoi informer chaque monde qui a demandé question ça ou obligé rester pour 14 jours quarantine et encore ça pour qui ça yo ka fait ça yo ka continuer quand CMO a dit travail et puis monde qui involvé directement l'année pour faire puis Covid pour faire assurer monde soit avec nous pas submerger ça fait Covid là parce que quand il bien dit là il vient pour touristes là il vient pour ouvrir pays là dans chaque bagaille ou ni pour mettre lido asuri. Qu'on a trouvé qu'on refermé parce que un chay moun te ka mande question ça lay vini pour ou qui vle vier surveiller qui ça qui kay fait 1000 out en hot si moi surveiller ou ni mouche test ou ni pour mouche un test covid qui négative ou ni pour être 14 jours quarantine parmi l'autre bagaille et puis ou supposé savent ça avant ou voyager. À sur l'autre développement, là venu pour l'école, ou kay savent jeudi mercredi, le 3e jour en mois juin, nous ka l'école ka ouvert, mais encore nous kay dou, c'est pas by tout le monde. C'est maman iti l'école, c'est petits enfants parmi l'on ka parler c'est maman là Guadion 2 3 4 5 c'est maman ça ni pour continuer être caillou ou être home kay savent yo ka fait travail l'école yo sur internet à présent mais l'école ka ouvert bas c'est maman là qui ka fait common entrance et puis CXC encore moins répéter l'école ouvert aujourd'hui et kou kay savent ça c'est bas c'est maman grade 6 et puis bas c'est maman là qui ka fait CXC. Ça c'est maman qui est en 5e forme. Et puis là, yo ka ba yo temps, c'est maman ça raison ouvert aujourd'hui c'est parce que c'est maman ça a besoin faire préparation. Là ni condition pour ça qu'on caille bien savent, les vini pour protocole qui déjà établi, nous t'étant c'est officiel hot département qui est responsable pour éducation. Et yon te bagay yo ka di yo ja fait assurer l'école là sauve toute bagay en place, yo ja fait assurer l'école là, yo ni limo pour contacter bureau santé et ben avec police en parmi l'autre en tous les cas si rien fait et bien si yo ni pour mettre bagay en place kouka ça vous pas permettre pour entrer en l'école là si ou pas une permission hot principal là et puis là yo cadeau les vini pour ces maman secondaire c'est moun ça ou supposé hen timetable là hot teacher changer yo cadeau souple ou était en contact et puis l'école là et puis teacher. Plus développement qu'a vini, merci tellement nous continuer à avoir développement et information ici à Headquarters COVID-19.
Thanks for that, Carlton. And we are due for our first break for the morning. And I'm just taking a quick look at the live comments on our Facebook Live on NTN, the Government of Saint Lucia Facebook page. And I'm still seeing some queries, individuals making queries as to the reason for the state of emergency being extended to the 30th of September. And we just want to assure the general public at this time that the state of emergency and its extension is in no way a hindrance to St. Lucia's recovery. If anything, it is a facilitating, it is a contingency. If in case we have to use the powers, the government of St. Lucia has to use the powers under the state of emergency, then it can do so expeditiously. And the use and the powers that are given to the executive under the state of emergency may very well mean may very well mean the difference between life and death if we're dealing with a sudden outbreak here in St. Lucia. I know we've said it quite a lot, but you know, it's always important to re-emphasize to ensure that the general public understands that the state of emergency is not preventing us from advancing or coping or getting restored or recovering in any way. We're seeing the St. Lucia is reopening on a phased basis, the resumption of tourism this week. Our borders are reopening and being very cautious at that. Just want to make that mention with regard to the state of emergency. So that's, I'm not sure who made the query. I don't remember who made the query, but you know, the reason for the state of emergency is to the government of St. Lucia to have something in its holster to move very quickly should we have, God forbid, an outbreak on island. Like I said, we are due for a break this morning, our first break for the morning. If you stay tuned, we will be going over the parliamentary proceedings from yesterday into the wee hours of today, and also providing you with some other important information. We do have a press statement, a press release coming from the Bankers Association of St. Lucia on the increase in opening hours at financial institutions here on island. So do stay tuned. You are watching the COVID-19 response report for today, Wednesday, 3rd June. See you on the other end of the break.
In a world where germs are widespread, comes a group of superhero germ busters, the germaphores.
We spend most of our time fighting germs, every day of the week. After I play, I wash my hands. Before I eat, I wash my hands. After I play with my puppy, I wash my hands. I cover my sneezes with my forearm or elbow when I am in public. And I cover my cough to avoid spreading dangerous germs. We are the germaphobes, germ-busting superheroes. You can be too. Always wash your hands and cover your sneeze and cough. Let's stop the spread of menacing germs.
We'll be back, germaphobes, with more powerful germs.
And we will be waiting to prevent you from spreading.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you're just joining us, a special good morning to you. We continue with this morning's COVID-19 response report with what transpired during the parliamentary proceedings, the sitting of the lower house yesterday into the wee hours of this morning. The Honourable Prime Minister continues with the social stabilization plan, and that is, among other things, we see the National Feeding Program, the extension to file tax returns by companies, the waiver of linked penalties, moratoriums, income support program. We're seeing NIC collaborating in that respect. But another point that the Honourable Prime Minister did make was that he would seek to extend the period for barrel concessions. We know it is around Christmas time that the country, the population gets to benefit from barrel concessions. But due to the circumstances, due to the onset of COVID-19, as well as the hurricane season compounded by the onset of the hurricane season, which began June 1st, the government of Saint Lucia went to the Parliament to seek this extension. If we could just go to the first clip of Parliament with the Honourable Prime Minister giving the explanation for this barrel concession extension.
Mr. Speaker, my government recommended the following: that the barrel concession program commence on June 2nd, to run for 8 months and expire on January 31st, 2021. The number of barrels granted under this program be restricted to 2 barrels to each household. That the beneficiaries of the concession be granted 100% waiver of import duty, excise tax on unsolicited personal items, food, clothing, toys, and other household contained in barrels imported. That the concession not apply to electronic items. That persons are to pay the requisite taxes, duties, and charges on barrels outside of the concessionary provisions as applicable in normal trade. That the unusual penalties and fines be applied if goods are used for commercial purposes, and there will be an upper limit of $2,500 per barrel on the value of items qualified.
By the Minister for Finance and Honourable Prime Minister Alan Chasney. A financial relief in the form of concessions on barrels, he also stated, will go a long way as the country also enters the hurricane season. And again, one of the motions that were tabled in the Honourable House yesterday. Just to go over the other motions, we had three motions for 3 loans, and that is the Millennium Highway West Coast Reconstruction Project, as well as the Caribbean Regional Communications Program and the Human Capital Resilience Project being tabled in the Honourable House yesterday. Again, just to let you know, the extension of the period for the barrel concessions and as well as the VAT order, the rate of tax on goods and services being provided by hotels and other providers within tourism. So those were the motions being tabled and approved ultimately in the House of Representatives in the wee hours of this morning. We do expect we'll be hearing from the Senate. The upper house will be convening tomorrow, 4th June, and they will be going over the motions as well and debating the motions also.
Merci tellement. Je suis encore qu'on nous promet développement là pour faire et puis COVID. Quand parmi bagay ou attend un chay parler là vini pour plan gouvernement pour stimuler l'économie qui ça qui a mis en place par Saint Lucia pour faire assurer nous recouvrir l'économie très vie à sous pied. Pas dit et moun ka hen petit soulagement ça sous l'oignon Montréal nous parler dia a pas dit assistance dans gouvernement ka bay les vini pour NIC moun ka payer NIC et assistance là il ka bay pour moun qui pas ka payer NIC nous attend tout ça a vini yon a ces plans gouvernement jamais été devant c'est les vini pour concession à sous bah oui vous savez normalement ça a commencé en novembre mais là yo souhait et ben devant joie bon matin on kaitan les kay constituent premier ministre mettait émotion ça devant et quand parmi bagay yo d'accord date qui à présent les vini pour bah oui moun ça commencé faire bah oui depuis en juin pour juste janvier qui a à peu près 8 mois quoi bonne nouvelle tout bonnement les vini pour ça parmi l'autre bagay aussi ou kay savent normalement quand yo jadi yo kay ba ou ça mène had manger et puis ti toys by mamay mais les vini pour bagay électronique et ben rien comme ça ou kay ni pour payer pour lui encore yo fait bien clair si ou mener ba oui c'est ba là aussi poser ni dedans c'est manger had toys by c'est mamay la bagay ou ka manger la caillou c'est ça ou peut mettre en dedans quand bonne nouvelle qui a sorti là les vini pour parmi bagay qui a fait pour faire assurer Saint Lucia un soulagement quand ça a commencé et moi ça est courir juste en mois janvier bonne nouvelle tout bonnement Jesse pour monde qui a vécu pour ça.
Thanks for that. And so that was just encapsulating the House of Assembly, the sitting on Tuesday going into the wee hours of Wednesday. And also transpiring was the bills down for consideration, and we see Saint Lucia Tourism Authority Amendment Bill, Tourism Levy Bill, and the Labour Amendment Bill. And just to go a little bit into the Labour Amendment Bill, before the Labour Amendment Act seeks to increase the layoff period during a national crisis like COVID-19. We did hear from the Labour Minister in the Honourable House speaking on what this amendment will do, especially in this COVID-19 period, and how it will benefit employers and employees alike.
The layoff period as enshrined in the Labour Code, or the Labour Act as it is known, is to allow a business person to, faced with the condition, to lay off its workers for a period of 12 weeks, 3 months. Upon the expiration of the 3 months, the employer, therefore, it means that that period would qualify for severance, and the employer would have to pay the worker severance pay. But with COVID and other natural disasters, which may protract that period of downtime and a very slow, it gives the employer the opportunity to benefit from an extended period, which period would be declared by the minister. So once a national emergency is declared and it is protracted over a long extended period, the minister can make a declaration and extend it by a further 12 weeks to allow for a longer period of time for recovery and to get the business back on its feet. However, it doesn't disadvantage the workers, because if the worker, the employee, feels that he rather just at least sever his own relationship with the employer, then it means that the employer would have to pay him his severance pay after the 3 months. The redundancy, his redundancy after the 3 months, and to allow him to move on with his own business. While the employer, it gives him that extra period of time to recover to full business. And that extension, Mr. Speaker, is only provided for periods such as a national disaster, a pandemic, or other situations such as these. Mr. Speaker,
that was the Labour Minister, the Honourable Stevenson King, just speaking on and giving an explanation for the Labour Amendment Act that was tabled in the House in this last House of Assembly sitting. Speaking on the increase, the permission to increase the layoff period during a national crisis, like we've seen with this pandemic COVID-19 here on island. So moving the layoff period from 12 weeks, that is 3 months, 12 weeks, yes, 3 months, and moving it further off to a 6-month period, and that is all within the scope of the Minister for Labour. So that would they're coming from the Minister of Labour. Again, this was approved in the Honourable House, one of 3 bills that were down for consideration.
Encore développement information nous ka ba ou hier qu'on nous bien dit kay consit c'est là nous te ka men en rapport nous parmi bagay yo teni pour considérer parmi ces bills là pour considération ou kay ça c'est les vini pour bill pour travail ça yo spécifiquement parler à sou les vini pour ou qui trouve ko yo voir sou yo lay off là qui a 3 mois normalement yo point 3 mois layoff quand chaque monde qui sorti hot samrende si maintenant ka venir chaque monde supposé vivre en travail là nous amendement fait pour lire qu'on a Stevenson King qui est responsable ministre qui est responsable pour à faire travailler en Saint Lucia et puis employeur là yo essayer faire un amendement côté au caille en addition de 3 mois à sous temps ça à présent nous quand pandémique là quand affaire corona vini et nous trouver qu'on est dans situation côté monde pas s'arrêter ensemble pour distance là chaque place travail vrai monde kayo pour 3 mois c'est monde sans chaque monde trouver qu'on lay off mais à présent nous amendement qu'a fait côté honorable Stevenson King a dit yo ka dit si après 3 mois là besoin yo ka mettre en l'autre 3 mois là mais ça fait condition ministre qui est responsable pour faire travail c'est moun qui ça fait ça et là yo fait ça il y en a ces bagages là qui bien important c'est travailler ni choix pour demander pour la rang et ben pour continuer à sous ligne de layoff yo ni pour payer la rang sous d'accord et vous pas ça fin l'autre 3 mois yo ni pour payer parmi l'autre condition quand trouver qu'on informer parmi bagages qui passe en kay consiste c'est à présent si nous jamais trouver qu'on nous encore et ben qu'on nous dans état de secours si nous trouvons qu'on est dans désastre avec ministre là ouais nécessaire pour monde trouver qu'on yo layoff pour 3 mois ba loi nous c'est 3 mois à présent yo a fait amendement ça pour addition 3 mois encore mais ça qui bien important comme on a dit il ka bay travailler à choix pour dire si après 3 mois ça avant yo continuer on y choix pour dire oui et ben non et pour employeur et ben qu'on travail là payer quoi parmi bagay qui discuter passer yo souhait ça c'était yon a dit yon a dit dans yo lay pour faire puis loi nous en bas travail en cette lycée.
Thanks for that, Carlton. We due for another break, but just to wrap up again, the proceedings from Parliament in the House of Assembly sitting. 3 loans approved. That's for the Millennium Highway West Coast Reconstruction Project. That's in the sum of US $7,945,000. Also, the Caribbean Regional Communications Program, and that's another loan. That's another loan, and it is in the sum of $4,100,000. And the third loan for Human Capital Resilience Project, and that is in the sum of $20 million. The extension for barrel concessions from June to January, and not just during the holiday season, it has been approved, as well as the VAT order for the rate of tax on goods and services provided by hotels and other providers within the tourism sector, as well as the 3 bills, the Saint Lucia Tourism Authority Amendment, Tourism Levy, and Labour Amendment. Do stay tuned. When we come back, we will be going over the statement received from the Bankers Association of Saint Lucia, giving us word on the increased opening hours of financial institutions on island. And we have another update from the Ministry of Health and Wellness on the opening of outpatient clinics at the Owen King EU Hospital. Stay tuned.
As part of government's social stabilization plan to assist persons who have lost their means of earning due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the government of Saint Lucia has implemented the Income Support Program, where non-contributors to the NIC shall receive a monthly payment of $500 for the next 3 months. Taxi drivers, jet ski operators, vendors, agro-processors, tour guides, hairdressers, barbers, small bar and restaurant operators, construction workers, and other sole traders who meet the criteria can apply using the Government of St. Lucia's website www.govt.lc. Payments will be made directly via electronic transfer to the recipient's bank account. The Income Support Program, simple strides towards recovery.
Thank you for staying tuned. We've now whittled down to our final segment of the COVID-19 response report for today, Wednesday, the 3rd of June. We have word from the Bankers Association of St. Lucia on the financial institutions' increased opening hours. And just to read from the release, the Bankers Association of St. Lucia remains vigilant amidst the continued threat posed by COVID-19 and have agreed to a phased increase in opening hours amongst its members. Effective 2nd June 2020 and until further notice, our opening hours will vary by the institution as listed below. Please take note, we have RBC Royal Bank 8 a.m. to 12 noon, Monday to Friday. St. Lucia Mortgage Finance Company Limited, 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon, Monday to Friday. First National Bank, St. Lucia Limited, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., Monday to Friday. Bank of St. Lucia Limited, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., Monday to Friday. CIBC First Caribbean International Bank, the Republic Bank, EC Limited, Sagicor Finance, all 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., Monday to Friday. The St. Lucia Development Bank will be opened 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday. Financial Investment and Consultancy Services FIX will be open 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Thursday and 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Fridays. Capita Financial Services Inc. Open from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Thursday and 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Friday. And First Citizens Investment Services Limited will be open. Employees continue to work from home and the office will be reopened from 8th June 2020. That's for First Citizens Investment Services. Full banking services will be provided during the opening hours. However, all of the social distancing protocols remain in full effect and the wearing of the mask and sanitation of hands is mandatory to allow entry into the premises of these financial institutions. Again, I went to the bank recently and there was definitely the protocols put in place in terms of the physical distancing, the use of hand sanitizer, as well as, getting into that place without having a mask on your face. So when you're going to any one of the financial institutions, ensure that you are prepared for abiding to those protocols. The Bankers Association of St. Lucia thanks the public for the increased usage of the digital channels such as online and mobile banking, ABMs and debit and credit cards, and for working with us during these difficult times. We encourage the public to utilize these channels to make banking easier and more convenient. So that's the word there coming from the Bankers Association of St. Lucia, an increase in the opening hours of financial institutions in St. Lucia. Carlton?
Encore développement qu'a sorti hard headquarters COVID là qu'on nous bien pour mettre cadeau information là pour faire COVID ça qu'a sorti hard association qui est responsable pour ces institutions financières là banque parmi l'autre ou qu'ils savent yo les publics là savent les vini pour les yo ka ouvert et fermé yo j'ai argumenté et kay courant effective vini le deuxième jour en mois juin le deuxième juin pour juste yo bay pli notice mi c'est courant banque et place financière là ces institutions financières là kay ouvert et fermé Royal Bank yo ka ouvert 8h bon matin pour midi lundi aller vendredi là vini pour Saint Lucia Mortgage Finance Company yo ka ouvert 8h30 pour midi lundi aller vendredi. First National Bank Limited yoka ensemble et puis Bank of Saint Lucia, CIBC First Caribbean International, Republic Bank ici limited avec Surgical Finance. Toutes ces places-là qui ont ouvert 8h bon matin pour 2h après-midi, lundi à vendredi. Tout veut qu'on informer encore. Là, il vient pour First National Bank, là, il vient pour Bank of Saint Lucia Limited, CIBC, CIBC, First Caribbean International, Republic Bank Limited, Surgical Finance. Toutes ces places-là, ils ont ouvert 8h bon matin pour 2h après-midi, lundi à vendredi. Là, ils viennent pour Saint Lucia Development Bank. Ils ont ouvert 8h bon matin pour 3h après-midi, lundi pour vendredi. Financial Investment Consultancy Services. Ça c'est fixe, c'est moun sa qui a ouvert 8h bon matin pour 3h après-midi, ça c'est lundi pour jeudi. Et puis les vendredis, yo ka ouvert 8h bon matin pour 4h les après-midi, ça c'est les vendredis. Capital Financial Services, c'est moun sa ka ouvert encore 8h bon matin pour 3h après-midi, lundi pour jeudi. Avec les vendredis, yo ka ouvert 8h bon matin pour 4h. Là, il vient pour First Citizens Investment Services, yo ka do un chay travailleur qui travaille kayo et puis yo même kay vie ouvert là il vient pour le 8 juin. Tout veut qu'on informer ça c'est First Citizens Investment Services yo kay ouvert le 8 juin mais en chay travailleur yo ka travaille hod kayo. Là yo ka faut savoir aussi même sous tant banque ouvert yo ka suivre protocole qui c'est distance 6 pieds social là ou ni pour changer ça et puis yo ka mettre protocole en place aussi ou ni pour suivre JID. Là, il pour masse, ou obligé de mettre en masse, qu'on est pour sanitiser la main, c'est bagay ça, ou obligé de faire avant ou entrer en bac là. Il va continuer à dire, merci pour ces gens qui ont servi bagay comme ATM, et qui aller sur Internet là pour faire des affaires. Il va encourager ça, et il va dire, c'est ATM là, et c'est facilité ça à valide pour, et il va dire, merci tellement, et il va dire, ou public là, continuez, suivre tout JID qui kabay, tout avertissement les vini expressement pour les affaires COVID. Annoncement qu'a sorti le département qui est responsable pour services financiers, association à Banque Saint Lucia.
And finally, before we close this morning, our COVID-19 response report, we just want to let you know, give you an update on the opening of outpatient clinics at the Owen King EU Hospital. We got a release from the Ministry of Health and Wellness that outpatient clinics at the Owen King EU Hospital have reopened. We did hear, I would imagine the having to deal with the influx of patients and so on, especially the transition as well, that certain services would have been suspended. The outpatient clinics at the Owen King EU Hospital have reopened. However, there is a note from the ministry that as we continue to adhere to the rules of physical distancing, visits will only be conducted by scheduled appointments. A hospital clerk will be contacting patients with their new appointment date and time. Please adhere to your new given appointment date and be on time. Visiting hours at the Owen King EU Hospital on a daily basis are limited to half an hour, 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. and 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m. Please note, absolutely no evening visiting hours are allowed at the hospital until further notice. All persons coming to conduct business at the Owen King EU Hospital must wear a mask before entering, but before entering the facility, the security will sanitize your hands with an alcohol-based solution. The Ministry of Health and Wellness will continue to take the necessary measures to ensure the safety of all staff and patients during the COVID-19 pandemic. And this press release and the measures that are outlined within it are all in an attempt to control the spread of COVID-19. So please take note if you do have to go over to OKEU of these following measures.
La information encore, merci tellement Jesse qu'on nous a vu dans bout bon matin information avec développement là pour faire Covid. Ou kay savent l'hôpital Owen King EU là yo ka ba information, yo ka dit pratique pour qui ka fait clinique en l'hôpital là avec monde qui ka visiter l'hôpital là, paye attention. Paye attention pour ça. Ça yo ka dou lancer l'hôpital là vini le 2e juin l'hôpital là ouvert pour monde qui ka fait clinique là et yo vlo savent yo ka suivre protocole ek jid qui bail par les autorités expressément lè vini pour distance là ek lè vini pour ou ka point chen appointement en l'hôpital là yo ka do souple. Pay attention pour protocole. Là, l'hôpital là cadeau, si on y appointement pour l'hôpital là, yon clock hod l'hôpital là kay contact ou et yo kay ba date là pour appointement et puis souple. Yo do trouver ko JD par date là et appointement yo ba ou et trouver ko là date là et l'air yo ba ou bien important. En clock l'hôpital là kay kuyo yo kay ba ou date et en l'air yo do souple. Trouver ko la à date là avec l'air ça bien important. En parmi l'autre bagay yo ka di l'autre monde qui ka visiter l'hôpital là yo ka fait 10 minutes de temps seulement. Ka commencer 6h bon matin pour 6h30 les bon matin ou ka ça venir pour 10 minutes de temps et puis après-midi midi pour midi et demi la pani pièce visite les souhait. Yo do bout ça pour à présent as a résultat di virus corona pièce visite les oswe juste attend yo bay jid pour ça encore yo kado tout monde qui ka vini faire business et ka vini dans l'hôpital là ou obligé mettre yon masque avant entrer à sous facilité et puis on est pour sanitize l'amont yo do fait asiwe ou ni masu ek lo vini ou ni pour sanitize. Ministre a ka fa ou sav yo ka prend toutes ces jit ça ek avertissement ça yo ka met tout bagay en place parce que ça c'est pour ou chen ou quand un moun ka visiter propriétaire sauve et puis pour travailler yo ek moun qui a trouvé ko yo admité la pendant pandémique ça ka oui quand a trouvé ko enfermé l'hôpital là ouvert ou pas aller là sous pas ni masque ou ni pour sanitize la mort yo pas qu'à faire visite les hors souhait c'est seulement bon matin 6h pour 6h30 et après-midi midi pour midi et demi trouver quoi informer et pour ces gens qui n'y appointement yo kay kuyo et pas ça simplement les yo kuyo chen date là et puis l'air parler de l'air Jesse qui l'est.
Thank you very much for that, Carlton. As we wrap up, we just want to let everybody know that we thank you for viewing and we thank you for keeping abreast of what is happening in our country in terms of the executive right down in terms of our response to COVID-19. It is important that everyone is aware. It is important for a fair level of transparency, that everybody is aware of what is happening, how it's happening as well. This week, we just want to wish our grade 6 and Form 5 students, as well as the teachers, the administration returning back to school in class instruction. We want to wish you all the best. We also want to wish the individuals who are at the front line of our border reopening efforts, as well as the tourism industry, all the best as well as we reopen our borders and resume tourism accommodation services here on island. COVID-19 has been no joke, but I think Saint Lucia has been commended, you know, not only for having a good handle on the way we manage directly the COVID-19 cases. We heard from CMO that there's been more testing, increased testing on island. Thankfully, we've not had any deaths due to COVID-19, and the 18 cases all are fully recovered. We're one of the fortunate countries, nations in that regard, but we're also fortunate in the way that we've been able to slowly reopen our country as a result and bounce back. I do hope that we can get that sort of sentiment from the general public in St. Lucia, fully recuperating from the effects of COVID-19, and the sooner the better. So just hope that everybody is in solidarity with that whole idea of us recuperating and recovering from COVID-19 as soon as possible. We do want to let you know, remind you that the curfew order is still in place. We still have the state of emergency. We do hope that you continue to treat, even more so as we begin to bring individuals back into our country, that you continue to treat these orders with respect by adhering to the protocols that have been established for the health and safety of the country. And as the authorities, the government of St. Lucia proceeds into not only ensuring lives are taken care of, but livelihoods as well are taken care of also, we do hope that you continue to play your part. It's all the time we have for now. My name is Jessie Leonce, and on behalf of the production team and Carlton Cyril, I do wish you and bid you a wonderful rest of the day. And we will be seeing you tomorrow. We will be reporting live from Parliament for the sitting of the Senate, the upper house, and they will be debating the motions that were debated by the lower house yesterday into the wee hours of this morning. Goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your day. Signing off for now.
Coronavirus? But children are safe, no?
Hold up. Children are actually more likely to touch all kinds of surfaces, put their hands on their mouths and their eyes, or sneeze and cough with little thought about hygiene when around others. While children have been seen to recover well from this virus, they can easily spread it to those more at risk.